We have an update tonight on a hit and run that happened Monday night in Dayton. We now have a 911 call from a witness and more information from police. Jenna Lee Bork has been gathering all of that information for us tonight. So Jenna Lee, what do we know right now?
Elise, there are two important pieces here. First, no one is in custody. Dayton police are still actively investigating this incident. Second, the victim is expected to survive. You can tell by the 911 call just how frantic this scene was. And I do want to warn you, this is difficult to listen to.
On Monday night, a little after 9 o'clock, a woman was hit by a car near the intersection of West Riverview Avenue and North Euclid Avenue in Dayton. You can immediately hear how panicked the scene was.
We need an ambulance. Somebody got ran over and her whole back is out.
The caller tells dispatch where the victim is while describing the urgency of the situation.
She's in the middle of the street.
Are they still breathing?
Yes, but I know something's wrong.
Okay, I got the call.
The police, please, right now.
The police and the ambulance are coming.
I don't want her to pass out.
Question.
As seconds tick away, the caller describes how serious the victim's injuries are.
Her back is open, and I think she broke both of her legs.
All right,
They
her back
ran
is
her
open.
over.
The dispatcher continues to try to gather information. You can hear just how difficult it is to try to describe something when shock has taken over. Eventually, the dispatcher works to calm the witness down.
Okay, all right. Do you know what kind of car hit her?
I don't even know. I don't know if it's a Buick. I don't know.
Okay,
Please.
what color was it?
Gray. I don't know. Black. I don't know.
Okay. Hey, I know that this is scary, okay? Take a deep breath for me, okay? Because we're going to work together and we're going to help her, all right?
The woman was taken to a hospital and was in critical condition. Now she's on the road to recovery. I received this update from the Dayton Police Department today. The victim's condition is improving. She's in stable condition with non-life-threatening injuries.
The email from police also says the vehicle that is believed to have been involved has been recovered. The vehicle was recovered from a hotel parking lot in Inglewood. Again, no arrest has been made yet. So if you have any information, you're asked to call the Dayton Police Department at 937-333-2677. Back to you in studio.
A car crashing into the Captain D's restaurant in Kettering this afternoon. Take a look. It's at the corner of East Dorothy Lane and Wilmington Pike. Two people from that restaurant were told had minor injuries. They were seen and released by medics. The driver reported that they had been involved in a hit and run that caused them to hit the building. However, police tell us there's no evidence to support that. The driver was issued a citation. Also, a third person has now been arrested in connection to an arson fire in Bethel Township back in September. Miami County Sheriff's detectives and the state fire marshal say 35-year-old Ashley Howard was involved in that fire. Now, investigators say the home's a total loss. Howard's been charged with aggravated arson, remains in the Miami County Jail.
And the man accused of killing a Dayton area teen last fall has now been arrested. Investigators say shots were fired from a vehicle that this man here, Tommy Moreland, was driving. One of the gunshots actually hit and killed 15-year-old Heaven Washington. Moreland is now in the Montgomery County Jail facing murder and other charges. And Darnell Taylor has now been laid to rest tonight. That's the 5-year-old boy who died last month after a statewide Amber Alert. His visitation and funeral service happened this morning at the Birth Christian Ministries in Columbus. He now lies at East Lawn Cemetery. His obituary says Darnell loved Paw Patrol, loved to eat, and enjoyed spending time with his family. Meanwhile, Darnell Taylor's legal guardian, Pammy May, has been charged with aggravated murder, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a corpse in his death. She's pleaded not guilty and is right now behind bars on a $4 million bond.
All right, so back in our area now, and it has been a little bit gloomy today. Rain throughout much of the day today. Looks like it's still on radar here, Tim.
It is. We got lots of it. It's been that kind of annoying, not too heavy, but just kind of light.
Nonstop.
Yeah, nonstop, constant light rain throughout the day. Most of the heavy stuff has been off to our west of I-75 and even out towards Indiana and Illinois. But you can see some heavier showers down towards Brookville, Summers Township, Hamilton right now, moving towards the Dayton region. So we're still not out of the clear. We're going to have a couple more showers through the evening. Panning out, you can kind of see very large system, lots of components mixing with this. Severe weather off to our south has finally come to a lull as well. Now, what to expect for the next couple of days here for your weekend? A few lingering showers possible on Saturday morning, but temperatures dropping through the day. Now, looking at Sunday, much colder. Areas in the north could see a few flurries.
1 month from today, all eyes will be on the sky as tens of thousands here in the Miami Valley will have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, solar eclipse totality. But before you head outside, there's some things you need to have first. Gwyneth Falloon explains what you need to know.
There are a number of things you're going to need on April 8th, but the most important are these eclipse glasses. These are very different from a regular pair of sunglasses like these. For starters, you can't even see through eclipse glasses in normal everyday lighting, and there's a reason for that.
Even though we don't have that, that brightness, you still have the heat and you still have the rays that are coming full force causing that damage, and you're not looking away. Instead, you're staring directly at it, and it can only take just seconds to cause irreparable damage. Failure to protect your eyes while looking at the sun during the solar eclipse can result in what's known as eclipse blindness or solar retinopathy, causing damage or destruction to the cells in the retina.
This is why Prevent Blindness Ohio, along with numerous other doctors, cities, and organizations, are stressing the importance of these eclipse glasses. But as you're looking to buy, for example, on Amazon, they need to have the ISO 12312-2 standard certification. If not, your level of protection could be compromised. If you want to be 100% sure, though, you can always buy directly from Prevent Blindness Ohio. For those of you who are planning on reusing a pair from a few years ago, double check they aren't scratched, torn, and still fit properly. If not, you're going to want to get a new pair or make what they call a pinhole camera.
You can just get a piece of paper actually and poke a little hole in it and make a little pinhole camera and project an image of the eclipse down onto your hand or the sidewalk or something like that.
There are a few other things you may want to pack. If you're wanting to take photos, the standard camera on your phone isn't going to be much help. So this solar snap kit will make it possible. It's available at places like Walmart. It's only about $23 and comes with 2 lenses, 2 pairs of sunglasses, and an app for Apple and Android. But this is just an option. The state's emergency management agency has put together this entire website for the eclipse full of things they strongly recommend. For example, plan ahead. Update your car's emergency kit with extra medicine and water. Have sunscreen and bug spray readily available. And make sure your kids have some form of ID on them just in case you get separated. Finally, there's going to be a lot of people out and about, so cell service could be slow or go down completely. And the roads may be very busy, so have some patience. Back to you.
Gwen, thank you. And if you missed this one, the U.S. actually won't have another total solar eclipse until 2044. In fact, another one won't be visible in Ohio until 2099. So you want to make sure you get out and see it. And we've created a list of all of the Miami Valley's eclipse viewing events on our eclipse stories at Dayton247now.com. Just click on the Eclipse 2024 heading in the news tab.
School personnel getting active threat response training, but bus drivers, they are often forgotten. Why a local district feels this is so important they get that training too, and why now's the time to do it.
President Biden reacting to the Republican rebuttal after his State of the Union speech, why he and others are criticizing the Alabama senator.
And coming up, we'll take a look at the chance for a little bit of wind in the area and falling temperatures. Here's a look at your Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
The Fairborn City School District holding active threat response training for their bus drivers today. Lydia Bice shares why the district felt this was so important.
Bus drivers sort of are the forgotten heroes, especially when it comes to safety and security training.
Which is why the Fairborn City School District had START, which stands for School Transportation Active Threat Response Training, at the high school today. This training teaches bus drivers the best steps in case of an active shooter or someone attempting to take over the bus and put students in danger.
It's important for us as school bus drivers because we've never had this type of training. As teachers, administrators, you get that training with active threats or active shooter training. But as school bus drivers, we don't typically get that kind of training.
Jordan Parker, Fairborn City Schools transportation supervisor, explains why now is as good of a time for this training as ever.
So obviously with the number of school shootings that we've had over the last 20 years, 25 plus years, and the ever-changing scene of the world.
All right, now take a look at the futurecast here. Those showers will eventually depart slowly through the overnight hours and into the early morning. Right around 6 or 7, we could see some lingering showers, maybe even later for some of the eastern counties. But for the most part, by late morning and into the middle part of the day, we'll just see some overcast conditions. Now, after around dinner time or so is when we'll see those clouds start to break apart a little bit. Maybe a few rays of sunshine before the sun sets, but better chance for a little bit of sun as we head into your Sunday. Now, northern areas, basically north of Dayton, better chance to see a few flurries. It's going to be a lot colder on Sunday with this northwesterly flow, but those clouds will also be mixing with a little bit of sun throughout the day.
Candidate for U.S. Senate Matt Dolan meeting with people in Vandalia at St. Christopher Catholic Church for a fish fry today. He spoke with them about how he'll represent Ohio and Washington. Dolan says this is a good way to get to know the community in a casual atmosphere.
I come from Cleveland, and fish fries are a big deal during Lent, so we wanted to, I'm not in Cleveland now, so we wanted to have that experience here. And this is a chance to see me in a relaxed setting and just talk about what's on the mind of a constituents.
Dolan says the focus for his campaign is how to make the lives of people here in Ohio better. He's running against businessman Bernie Moreno and Secretary of State Frank LaRose for Senator Sherrod Brown's seat.
Well, and speaking of elections, here are some dates you should keep in mind if you're mailing in your ballot. They must be postmarked by March 18th to be counted. You can vote in person at your local Board of Elections every weekday, plus the 2 Saturdays, which is this Saturday and Sunday before Election Day. If you still need to request an absentee ballot, your application must be received by 8:30 at night on March 12th. And of course, Election Day is the 19th. Polls open at 6:30 a.m. and close at 7:30 that evening. And as the election approaches, we got all your important dates and everything else you need to know in one place. Just go to Dayton247now.com and look under the Beyond the Podium heading in the News tab.
Here's a live look tonight right behind me at our nation's capital, where the Senate just passed 6 government funding bills tonight, hours before a shutdown deadline. Now, the final vote was 75 to 22. This package will now be sent to President Joe Biden so it can be signed into law. Although these bills have passed through the Senate, lawmakers still have more work to do. They need to finalize another set of funding bills before March 22nd in order to keep the rest of the government funded.
Also, TikTok's time in the U.S. may be ticking away. The House Energy and Commerce Committee has now voted to advance a bill that could ban the China-linked social media platform from all U.S. devices. If the bill passes, TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, would have 6 months to sell it. If ByteDance does not do that, the bill would make it illegal for TikTok to be available for download in app stores. Lawmakers who are pushing for the app to be sold say TikTok is doing everything it can to oppose it.
Has your office been flooded by calls from people who don't want you to move forward?
Yes, we've been flooded with calls, record amounts of calls. Any member of the Energy and Commerce Committee that voted yesterday has been flooded.
So TikTok says it does not and would never share U.S. user data with the Chinese government and urges its users to oppose the legislation. The House of Representatives is set to vote on the bill next week.
President Biden says he saw Republican Senator Katie Britt's rebuttal to his speech last night.
I just saw a little bit on television. I thought she was a very talented woman. I didn't quite understand the connection she was making.
The 42-year-old junior senator in Alabama was chosen to give the speech to represent the next generation of Republicans in Congress. She covered the economy, immigration, crime, and Biden's age, but she's facing criticism from Democrats and even some conservative commentators for her performance. Many saying her dramatic tones, pauses, and facial expressions differ from how she usually speaks. But Republican leaders are praising her tonight.
She was able to identify with the problems that everyday families have in trying to put food on the table and try to afford gasoline and all the rest, and she did a fabulous job.
During her rebuttal, Britt also reiterated that Republicans support access to in vitro fertilization.
A ship with humanitarian aid is heading to Gaza through a newly launched sea corridor. Now, the joint effort between the European Union, U.S., and United Arab Emirates and others is meant to bring relief to civilians who are starving. Now, they're struggling to find a way around Israeli restrictions, and airdrops of aid are not cutting it. Israel says it welcomes the corridor, but warns it needs security checks.
Today, we are facing a humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza, and we stand by the innocent civilians in Palestine.
European officials say the first ship will depart for Gaza from Cyprus tomorrow.
5 people reportedly died in Gaza this morning after being crushed by an airdropped aid package. Officials in Gaza say that the parachute attached to the pallet failed to deploy properly, and the shipment fell on a group of people, including children who were waiting for food and supplies. At least 10 others were also hurt. The country responsible for the shipment was not identified. The Pentagon says the U.S. was not involved.
Of note, press reports that U.S. airdrops resulted in civilian casualties on the ground are false, as we've confirmed that all of our aid bundles landed safely on the ground.
The U.S., Jordan, Egypt, France, and the Netherlands, along with Belgium, began dropping aid in Gaza in recent days amid concerns over famine in the war-torn area.
All right, here's a live look from our Eco Plumber Sky Cam. You can see the rain out there still. Tim is in for Natalie tonight with another look.
Yeah, a gross wet evening out there, but winds are also picking up just a little bit. If you've stepped outside recently, I'm sure you've felt a little bit of a breeze. Now, we're going to continue to see this through the day Saturday. Winds will shift. Originally, we're out of the south. You can see now going to be pushing out of the northwest. Saturday, not too bad, just a little breezy. But now as we head into your, Sunday is when things start to pick up. 8 a.m., only around 20-25 miles per hour. But you head into the afternoon hours, and we could see some areas seeing sustained winds around 20 miles per hour, 25 miles per hour, and wind gusts closer to about 40 miles per hour, maybe a few over that. Now as we move into your Monday, though, high pressure moves in and those winds will subside.
Well, could the Dayton Flyers win their regular season finale against VCU? UD also trying to have a perfect home record. Matt Digby with the results next.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. It is National Reading Month, and our Dayton 24/7 Out crew has been out visiting local elementary schools reading to students. Today, our Good Day Dayton host, Tej Joshi, was out at Primary Village South reading to kids.
Am I a robot monkey? Yeah. Wait, are you guys robot monkeys?
By the way, that was Tej making the. I don't even know what that was. Was that a monkey? I think it says monkey, but I don't know if that's. He did. He did. I think he's like a big child himself, so that's why he relates so well to them.
They loved him.
They did love him. So children who have access to books, of course, are more successful in school and beyond. And that's why Dayton 24/7 Now is partnering with Reading is Fundamental. And our parent company, Sinclair Broadcast Group for Sinclair Cares, supporting children's literacy virtual book drive. Just scan that QR code you see on their screen to get involved. That's going to take you to our Sinclair Cares site where you can donate. In fact, just $4 can put a new book into the hands of a child.
Well, it is a big weekend for movie lovers because we'll find out which movies, soundtracks, and actors have won an Oscar. You can watch the Oscars at 7 p.m. this Sunday right here on ABC 22. Today is International Women's Day, and the International Peace Museum in Dayton is focusing on local stories. After the break, what it hopes the public gains, plus we're honoring some of our own great women here at Dayton 24/7 Now.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.